welcome to the catch up with me. I've got my cup of tea or my positivity, which you may have seen if you saw the Mental Health Awareness Week videos, which were released last week. They are now all in one playlist, which includes the three lovely blog tours. So Sam, Una, Kelly and Dee from Sisters of Stitchcraft, and also Annette, who saw Sam's video and also did one on her blog. So I've included that. It's a really nice one as well, in addition to the ones that I put together. So yes, if you haven't caught up with any of those, they are there always if you want to go and check in. Thank you to all of you who did comment, or I had some lovely messages during the week. And on Sunday I didn't go on stories on Instagram because I actually started the day off quite early. I was supposed to go to the gym with my husband. Long story, I didn't. But being awake at 6:30, we're quite an early household. I ended up doing some drafting during the week. Helped facilitate session for Sarah from My Handmade Wardrobe, doing the Be Your Own Designer course. And the session was themed around what would you like to try and recreate on your block piece. So I sent a suggestion of some pleats in a shoulder seam. So I had the Sunday morning to give it a go. All was going well, and then I couldn't fold the pleats on my new pattern piece, and I got so frustrated. The fact that my husband and dog are still alive is a miracle. Being in the same room was just grinding my gears, and so he had to go and take himself off and leave me alone to wallow in the frustrations. I've done it now. I went off, did some buttonholes on something else, and came back to it, and it's fine. So I've got my mock-up for that, but I'm going to tell you more about that on another one, because that's for a very special thing that I'm planning, which I didn't want to include today because I've got some other things. Another recommendation just for the mental health video as well as a podcast, which was a suggestion that came through a bit late and I didn't add it to any of the videos because I ran out of time. I didn't go on Instagram stories. There's a podcast called How Do You Cope? It's by two comedians, Ellis James and John Robbins. Originally it was a series on BBC, so you can find it on BBC Sounds. It's just in the last few months been started up again, but with just John Robbins, who's been through a whole load of stuff in his life. He's an alcoholic. I've listened to his episode where it's just him and Ellis talking about that, which was really interesting to hear two men who are about 40 talking very openly about their experience of mental health in general, and his alcoholism and that realisation. I think he describes it as the light being switched off. Anyway, it's just John Robbins interviewing people, probably most known to people in the UK, so some TV presenters, I think there's singers, some really interesting people, and it's about the things they go through in life. So it is quite heavy, but it's one that came through as a recommendation. I do recommend it. It's excellent the way John talks. It's very grounded. I'll pop in a link to their Instagram so you can go and find the podcast episode wherever you listen to your podcasts. And one thing that got me out of my funk on Sunday when I was drafting was I was listening to a podcast on Spotify. I listen on various platforms, but whatever I listened to rolled into an episode of Love to Sew, a very recent episode, and I dabble in sewing podcasts because I just prefer comedy ones. I find it really hard to listen to podcasts about my hobbies. Anyway, it rolled into that, and that episode was about submissions from people about if there was one thing you could make, only one thing, what would it be? And the interpretations of that question they asked was amazing. I almost skipped the episode because I was like, oh, sewing, whatever. Actually, I'm really glad I stayed because it was so interesting what people answered. I'm not going to go through answers, but the two hosts, and I can't remember the names, go and listen to that because it was really fascinating, got me thinking about what would if I could have one thing. I still couldn't decide, but I liked the kind of how people interpreted their answers. So go and give them a follow. also they did an episode about socialising, SEWalising, and they gave a shout. Someone submitted virtual sewing room, so we've had a shout out on their podcast before. We just need to get them on an episode now, on a session to come and join us. So yeah, there's a couple of podcasts you can go and listen to. So I also wanted to chat about the recent Sew Skin Summer Sew Along, which happened on Saturday. There were 16, 17 of us. I'm trying to remember how many people were on the screen. That's how I try and remember the numbers. People were coming and going through the day because they had other stuff on, to drop children off, go to work, things like that. So it was a lovely session, and we had so many things being made for Lucy's challenge. So if you don't know the challenge, go see my vlog about it, about what I might be making. It's a challenge to raise awareness of melanoma and skin cancer, because it is the awareness month for that. Lucy, who's one of our co-hosts, the Sewing Gardener, has had some personal experience of that. Go check out her vlog. So of course I offered that our themed session for this month would be to honour that, so people could take part in the challenge and feel encouraged by others. We had so many different things being made. We had a sun hat. Angelica's sun hat was so cool and lovely. Every now and then she'd be trying it on, just brim hat stuff. So that was finished, I think, during the session. But we had so many other things. So we had 3 Jenna shirts. Mine was one of them. It's almost finished. We had different jumpsuits being made, one in a fabric that I actually own already, so I think it's Chloe who was doing that, so I'm looking forward to seeing the final pictures. We had dresses, loads of different variations of dresses. We had a Penny and a Penelope dress. I found that quite funny because, yeah. We had caftans, cover-ups. I think we had a bag at one point, jersey tops, Arden pants by Helen's Closet, shirt dresses. So it's another one of the Reeta dress, I think by Named Patterns. That's very much on my radar, and you know how much I love shirts. So yes, we had loads being made, and people had a couple of things on their radar. So my Jenna shirt, which is a white linen, which I brought at the Stitch Festival in 24, is finally being made up, and I've got the cutest buttons, and I've done some contrast buttonholes on the sleeve tower placket and on the final button, inspired by my husband's shirt. But I'll show you the final make, and it'll be up on my personal account soon. I've just got to finish the buttonholes and buttons, then it's done, and I've got to do my little catwalk. Hello dog. So also talking about shirts, at time of filming I've just posted over on Instagram a few stories. If you're a long time follower on Instagram, you might remember some stories I've done where we've done a knockout. It's just for fun, and it's really interesting to see all the different patterns people submit. But a bit like a Football World Cup where you have knockout stages. So after the group stages, if you follow football, it's pretty similar in lots of sports. But you have 8 or 16 teams, and they go head to head, and the winner goes through to the next stage and goes up against another winning team. So we do that, but with patterns. So in the past, we've done general favourite patterns, and I think the Sadie jumpsuit was the winner there. That was one of the first ones we did. We've done trousers, and we've done skirts. So I have shared them in stories, so you can go and find them over on Instagram. So we've had 16 patterns suggested, or there are maybe a few more, but I've where there's maybe 2 from one company, I've chosen one over the other just for various reasons. But I'll start it into next week, which is half term in the UK. I need to collate loads of photos, then I'll do random pickings of who's going to go against who, and then it's going to be lots of polls over the following week or so. So depending whether we get 8 or 16 shirt submissions, it's going to be a lot of fun. You're going to learn out about more shirt patterns, so am I. It all came about because for me, Made May today, this is a regular Callie shirt, and I've got my yellow buttons, which are old. And basically I thought, oh, I wonder if the Callie is the ultimate shirt, because I've got 4 or 5. I've got at least 5, and I've got loads of Lyra shirts, Shirt dresses, I started to hack very early on with the Granville shirt by, can't remember, but I hacked on circle skirts a lot. I made the shirt, cut it, yeah. So shirts are one of my things. I love, it's smart cash. This is the crop version. I'm not a fan of the cropped, but I love the sleeve length. It's just, yeah. And this fabric as well. It's just so nice on a warm day. And we'll see what shirt pattern. Is it going to be the Calais? Is there another ultimate shirt? I mean, so over it, have an ultimate shirt pattern. But is it the ultimate shirt? It's just a bit of fun. So yeah. So I'll give you an update on how the shirt knockout is going next time. I'm going to tell you a bit more about the drafting that I'm doing and what that's for. Yeah, a little fun thing between me and my sewing life. And just to let you know, house move. For those that come to sessions, you know that I'm moving house at some point. Yeah, it's slow progress at the moment. We're still aiming for before the summer holidays, so before the end of July. So yeah, things are just a bit slow there. But I'm looking forward to a slightly bigger sewing space. Yeah, be really exciting. And I'm thinking, I had a little Google this morning, so moving to a little market town. I had to look around for community spaces to potentially host an in-person meetup. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I hope you are okay today. The sun may be shining and you've got some nice sewing plans and you haven't had to use the unpicker today. Yeah, hopefully see you on a session soon and happy making.